Okay. So hello, I'm Nadia.
Thanks a lot for being flexible, but you're both in the same, in the same project. And so start doing it. You have all the rights than Ethiopia, maybe. So go ahead, Nadia.
Okay, hello. So introduction first, for people who doesn't know me yet. Hello, I'm Nadia from Indonesia. Most probably, most of you already knows me, as I've been working with WageIndicator for about 12 years. There's almost half my age. And so right now I'm chosen to be a representative to share the team's remarkable work, effort, and ambitions on DecentWorkCheck in Indonesia. So next. I'll start explaining a bit about the background and the flow of the initiative or the project. So basically, the initiative tries to answer all the questions on the slide. We started off with the assumption that by us make the data on working condition publicly available for comparison between factories, this will then improve working condition and the situation where workers' voice can be heard. However, during the implementation, questions then evolve to how exactly can I use the data for the improvement, for example? Or there are other stakeholders that ask, is there a way to monitor the progress? How can we check all the changes that is happening in the working conditions? So to answer these questions, through this approach, we investigate where we assist the trade union to do data collection on collective bargaining agreement and factory compliance directly from the workers. We instruct by providing trainings for the trade unions to do analysis and use the data for negotiation with the factory management, or we usually call evidence-based social dialogue. We are also informing the public and the stakeholders, including the brands, on the survey result. That is for them to monitor the working conditions in their supply chain and also to influence them to advocate to create a better policy. Next. So in the course of the initiative, lots of interventions are done, as seen in the slide. Although there are several things that cannot be measured quantitatively, one of which is change the mindset on how the trade union work. Because of the initiative, trade unions are gradually get used to collecting data before they do the social dialogue within the factory. They also start adopting data academy training method into their trainings, their trade union trainings. So by having trade union committing and voluntarily does the process, this speaks that the approach is indeed working and it is indeed useful for the trade unions. Next. So how exactly do we measure the improvement? So according to the DecentWorkCheck result, the data collection that we've done previously, for the factories with topics below 90% compliance rate, we see an increase of compliance by 6 percentage points on average. While for topics below 80% compliance rate, the average compliance is increasing by 8 percentage points. So we can see the difference before and after the intervention, according to the DecentWorkCheck result. Next. So how about the factories that are already comply and already have high score, already have above 90% of the compliance rate? Of course, we want to measure that as well. So to measure the improvement, we collect results of the factory social dialogue. And from there, we could measure the number of topics discussed, the number of topics that is agreed in the social dialogue, and which of the topics are considered improvement by the trade unions. This report covered more specific topics that are beyond legal minimum that is captured by the DecentWorkCheck survey. That is not captured, sorry, by the DecentWorkCheck surveys. That topics can be facilities can be parking lot, can be mosque, or allowances or bonus that is given to the workers and so forth. So the trade union are using this information to monitor the trends and track the cases and the changes, which needs to be addressed by the National Board Trade Union. Next. And okay, during the implementation, they're not always rainbows, of course. We face lots and lots of challenging coming our way. We try to summarize it a bit into 3 categories. The first one is transparency, data transparency disclosure, transparency on data disclosure. So data transparency is being part of the project, and it's also aligned with the WageIndicator DNA, vision, and mission. However, in practice, transparency can be perceived differently by each of the stakeholders we work with. And due to this perception, number of challenges has emerged. For example, the factory are threatened by the bad publicity, which caused the factory doesn't want to be interviewed, doesn't want to do decent work check surveys anymore. Or the factory is questioning the validity of the data because the data will be published and everybody will see it. So they want to know if the methodology is very much correct. And because of that, workers are also afraid to fill in the surveys. And we have quite a lot of issues due to we published the data, the decent work check surveys that we collected. The second one is cooperating with the trade union. So why we work with the trade union, that is for sustainable process. Like for more sustainable process, cooperating with the trade union is needed. However, one of the big challenges for us is to encourage them to conduct evidence-based social dialogue using the data collected, using the tools provided. It's still new for them, so they're reluctant to use these tools. But yeah, as you can see in the intervention that we do, they gradually adapt to our method. The next one is the national context. This is also a big challenge. During the course of the project, we faced 2 most challenging situations, which are COVID-19 pandemic, which has happened in global, and also the omnibus law. This is like derivative regulation from our previous labor law to be decreased. The provision is decreasing. So because of these circumstances, many of the factories are closing down, workers are being laid off, rise of precarious employment, and also relocation of the factories. Next. So step by step, we try to solve the challenges we have by applying new strategies in response to workers' demands and needs. We do have our own ambition for this initiative in the future, for this project in the future. The first one is to expand to more coverage to more factories. Currently, WageIndicator has surveyed more than 200 factories in Indonesia. That is only 15% out of the garment factories registered in Open Apparel Registry that is located in Indonesia. So we would like to expand to more factories, including the non-unionized factories. Therefore, learning from the Ethiopian team to do it that way is also going to be our lesson learned. The second one is to engage with more brands. To cover more factories, we plan to lobby selected brands to support the adoption of our approach, where brands can use the approach to identify, to mitigate, to remedy the unfair condition by using WageIndicator workers-driven monitoring system. The third one is to improve and track changes beyond the legal minimum. This has been done, and we would like to shaping it up by integrating all of the tools that we have: decent work check survey, CBA database, social dialogue report, and so forth. And the last one is to expand to more countries. We believe that if we do this in more countries, we will learn faster and we will contribute more to the welfare of the workers. So reflecting on what we've done during these periods, although there are still room for improvement, we have achieved and contribute a lot in creating the data, building awareness, building capacity of the trade union and workers that ultimately increase workers' welfare. So big thank you for all the team involved in the project, and hope you know that we did indeed create an impact. Thank you.
Nadia, a great presentation, and it's true. I think all of you, your whole team, created the impact, and of course, it's not only the Indonesian team; it's also the team, the technical team, the data team who's behind it. So, and I would say the whole Italian team who's behind it. So, thanks a million for all that. So good, so brilliant. I would say thank you. Then now we go to the Ethiopian team. And Ethiopia has been doing things which are so cool that everybody wants to learn from you. So Gashaw, share your slides. I think Niels will do that for you. Go ahead and show what you do in complex situations. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you, Pauline. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon,
ahead.
everyone. Okay, our presentation is going to focus on the DecentWorkCheck in Ethiopia. Next slide, please. Yeah. To give you a little background about Ethiopia, Ethiopia is located in East Africa, and it is the second most populated African country. And recently, the Ethiopian government has a macroeconomy policy shift that is from agriculture to industry. And when we see the industry sector, until 1991, we have had only 19 factories, but in 2008, these 90 factories have grown up to 252 textile and garment factories. So the government is now giving priority to this textile industry. For that reason, the government has by now established 13 industrial parks, which have created more than 83,000 jobs so far. Next, please. Okay, thank you. So the project flow is very much similar to the Indonesian group. We have this factory identification, usually conducted by the Federation, together with the WageIndicator team. That is going to be followed by data collection. Yeah, that is a DecentWorkCheck survey. After collecting the data is uploaded on the the WageIndicator website. Then data-driven social dialogue will be followed. This is finally going to be accompanied by observations. Observations whether these social dialogues have brought change on these factories. Then the second wave is going to happen. This way we go back and forth between this survey, social dialogue, and monitoring and evaluation, that sort. Next, please. So far, the DecentWorkCheck survey in Ethiopia has been done in 3 areas. One is Addis Abbeba, the capital city of Ethiopia. Oromia is one of the 11 regions by now, and Hawassa is a city located in the south of Ethiopia. We have reached 10 textile factories, 47 apparel or garment factories, and 2 factories that produce both textile and apparel, and 15 factories, 15 flower farmers so far. Next, please. Yeah, when we see the number of people who participated in this project so far, we have a total of more than 17,000 individuals who we can say benefited from this project. Of this, about 11,460 are women and 6,009 are men. These are of course women who are permanent workers and men who are also permanent workers in the surveyed factories. Next, please. Thank you. And when we see the participants for the social dialogues, we have a total of 38 participants for the social dialogue from textile factory. Basically, the social dialogue participants are trade union members, management representatives of the factory, government representatives of that local area, and federation members, and of course, WageIndicator team, that is me and Eyuel. So for the textile, we have about 38 participants. These are the total. Of these, 13, almost 1/3 of these participants are female. And we have had 33 participants for flour. And of this, only 10 are female participants of this social dialogue. That is, you can see the gender gap in this social dialogue, of course. That's another important issue to consider in the future. But when you see the total number of participants, women are very much higher than men. You can refer that from the previous slide. Thank you. Next, please. Yeah, these are the areas where we observed improvements that happened after this social dialogue have been conducted. For instance, if you see the sick leave, the first bar, that shows more than 6 factories have improved the permission of this sick leave for workers who are really in need of. Equal pay for equal work was a little bit challenge in some 4 factories. So after the social dialogue, these factories promised that they will be paying the same amount of money for men and women. So the most significant change that we observed is the issue related to this on-site clinic and related to that clinic bills. That's related to health. Whenever these people get sick, they may go to a hospital and they may bring bills, and the factory or the farm should cover that bill for these patients. For patient workers. The other important improvement we saw is on this fixed term contract. Here we mean that usually factories employ workers temporarily based on contract, but after 2 months, they are obliged, the Ethiopian labor law obliges the factory to employ these workers as a permanent worker, because the law obliges these factories to employ the workers permanently in essence, to give them a written contract that will show them an agreement between the factory and these employees that they are permanent workers. And these are some of the most significant changes, as you can refer from the slide. Next, please. So having these improvements, we also do have these challenges that we are facing these days. The first challenge is fear of survey and social dialogues and their consequences by these managers of these factories and farmers. Usually the farmers and the managers believe that if these workers are aware of their rights, their privileges, the law and so on, then they feel that the workers will become demanding, and in order to avoid that awareness, the factory managements usually do not like to be surveyed, do not like to have this social dialogue. That is in most cases one of the challenge. The other one is we have many factories without these trade unions. So conducting social dialogue is a little bit challenging whenever, in the absence of a representative from the worker side. The third one is lack of awareness of labor law. In most cases, the managers, the human resource managers, the factory owners, and so on are not aware of these international conventions that Ethiopia has ratified. The policies, even the factories and the farms, they themselves developed. they usually forget what the CBA or collective bargaining agreement says and so on. So lack of this labor law conventions and policies is another important challenge that we face in our work. The other one is an international problem that's related to AGOA. That is, the United States has expelled Ethiopia from AGOA because of the conflict within Ethiopia, and the closing of this, the avoidance of this AGOA has resulted in partial or total closing of some of the factories, the textile factories in Ethiopia. The other one is international and national crisis. International crisis like the Ukraine-Russia crisis, national crisis like the Ethiopian civil war. Here we have. The other one is skyrocketing living costs has challenged smaller wages because the devaluation or the inflation is super higher than the salary increment in most factories. The other one is the other challenges. We have reduced foreign direct investment, so workers do not have options to other than sticking to the factories, even if the factories are really repressive or that sort. The last one is most leaders are so traditional. They are a little bit aggressive. They are a little bit repressive and that sort. Next, please. So when we see our future, we believe that the wage indicator should work hard, and the responsibility on this wage indicator is increasing because of these diamond challenges happening in Ethiopia. One of the future that we would like to do is we want to expand this decent work check to other untapped areas, or especially to the northern part of the country. The other one is we want to conduct monitoring and evaluation assessments in a better way than the one we have been doing so far. We would also like to expand the decent work check and social dialogue to other factories, such as this plastic and packaging factories. We also would like to impact the government to set minimum wages. In fact, this is under progress, but we want to also push that to happen in a very recent time. The other one is we want to make researches on why national labor laws and international conventions are not obeyed by most factories in Ethiopia. And the last one is we want to see better working environments where rights and privileges are respected. This is our dream. Next, please. The last one. So when we see opportunities, these are the opportunities. We have tangible improvements that we got from our previous workers. We have unexplored areas in northern Ethiopia. So far, we touched only 25% of flower farmers. So about 75% of the flower farm is not yet done. Not covered under this decent work check survey. We also do have this huge labor gap. I hope everyone can understand this poor country can definitely do have a lot of problems related to this labor. We also do have an opportunity because government has already shifted the macroeconomy from agriculture to industry. So fast expanding industry is another important opportunity for us. The other one is we have strong interest from the Federation, from trade union, management, and of course, the wage indicator team to this decent work check. Next, please. Thank you. Our special thought would be to our late brother, Brahanu. He was really the cornerstone for this project in Ethiopia, and thank you for that. I think I have finished. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for great achievements. And what you see is basically what have been done in creating all the minimum wage database, the labor law database, and the labor right index. On that basis, both the team in Indonesia and in Ethiopia come to action and generate change in a very complex situation, I would say. So more than applause for searching, finding out, exploring how to improve the situation of workers, and not where is always also a trade union. So the coolest part is that teams are sorting out whatever they can do to well, improve the situation of the worker. So thanks a million for that.